All right, I think we're live now. Yate siya Richard DeCrane siya. Kit Lucini Bashching Gagi Dinaan Shinala Gagi Dinaan sila. Ashingi da siya Gagi Dinaan da Shinala Kuteya Dinaan sila. Aro Yisia Le Tayara Nasha. Kuteya Dinaan sila. Hello, my name is Richard DeCrane. I'm here again, Facebook Live. Hello, everybody. How are you guys doing this week? Me, I'm doing pretty good. Just busy. Already out of water. Just got done doing another interview earlier with my son's little podcast, or pre-interview before the main interview. Um, Other than that, we're doing good. I think. What do we stop? Last week we stopped. We were talking about women's traditional dance and dress, the different dress of the women traditional. There are quite a few different dance styles and dance regalia in general of the women. I kind of just touched a little bit on different dance styles and things. Hi, Katerina. Hi, Marine. They're here and they say hi. So, yay, that's working. So, hi, guys. Thanks for joining me. Yeah, so today we're going to be talking about the jingle dress. Talking about the origin stories, where it comes from, and give a little bit of a story of some stories of my personal stories where we got it, how we it came into our community, how we got it. Yeah, so from what I was told, the jingle dress. We'll just get right into it. From what I was told, the jingle dress came from an older gentleman having a vision, and that vision, I guess, came to him like four times, and eventually he told his wife, and he told the wife, in that dream that he had in that vision, um, he seen these women wearing four different colored dresses, and they would wear. One was wearing a white, green, blue, and a red, and he was describing the dress, and he said on that dress there were some metal things, and it was just a plain dress, nothing ordinary about it. And looking down towards the feet, she was just wearing moccasins, but no leggings, and she was just dancing, I guess. And in that dream, he saw them dancing. They also had their arms on their sides, and they were just dancing, straight ahead. They weren't going backwards or going sideways. They were just going straight ahead at a kind of really uh, quick quick pace. And then he was saying in that dream that in that dream it also sounded like the sound that the dress made was kind of like it sounded like rain. And so that man told that vision to his wife, and his wife was like really intrigued and thought about it. And then she actually went to some of her friends, her relatives, and they actually end up making that dress, or those four dresses that the man had envisioned. And so they made that dress, and then the man also talked to some of the singers and about that song, what kind of song it was. It was kind of a very fast, upbeat, and so the I guess songs were also composed with that dress. And so finally, when the women had made that dress their own, they made the four different colors, and then they had a kind of a coming out. And then during that coming out ceremony, I guess there was a young one of the man's daughters was sick, and they didn't really know what was wrong with her. And she happened to be there at that coming out ceremony of the four dresses. And when she heard that those four dresses, she kind of her the way she was feeling, she felt much better. She perked up, as they said, and she got up and she watched the dancers, and then that kind of inspired her to feel better and made her feel better. And so she got up and started dancing. And since then, that story has been passed on from generation to generation. I believe that story comes from the Milak people, or the Ojibwe. Some people say just say Ojibwe people, but Ojibwe is kind of a general term that there's quite a few different Ojibwe tribes up in the Great Lakes kind of area, and in Minnesota, even up into Canada. So there's not just one Ojibwe. So I think that it's important to know that it comes from the Mille Lacs tribe from that up in Minnesota. And so that's where that dream of that man that had that dream and that vision and how it came through and how the women made that dress their own. And to this day, we have women that dance that style, that still dance that old style. We call it the old style of jingle dress. And there's also a new contemporary style, and the new contemporary style of dancers, they dance backwards and forward and sideways, and they spin around. I think that's one of the things that the old style jingle dress didn't do. There was just a straightforward dance that they did, and I think there's a lot of things that have developed. Different tribes have taken on this way of this dance. From the original, they changed it a little bit, or I think a lot of people hear the story of how many, like, they would put 360 cones on a dress, and that really makes the dress really heavy. If you ever have to make one of these dresses, me and my wife, we took the time and we made our daughter's dress. The first time she danced, my daughter started out fancy shawl, dancing fancy shawl, and then she switched to jingle dress. And when she switched, she was still a young girl, and so we that's how we kind of got our experience was making her first dress. We actually asked some relatives and friends and family members how to make that dress, and so they taught us how, and they also shared the stories with us. I think one of them is Tina Morales, kind of really helped us also, and she's a Ojibwe also, but from a different area. And so but that story, comes from the Miwok people, and just trying to relate and trying to not relate, but talk about the origin story, where it comes from. Those people, the Ojibwe people, and how we got it here in San Diego. I think young kids, at our dance class, they wanted to dance that jingle dress style, and we did the best we could. We actually asked quite a few different elders, permission to use that dress or to get it, to be able to use it, and we try to do our best to stick to protocol. And some of the protocols, are you can't wear that dress or dance in that dress when you're on your period or on your moon, as they say, because that's the time when the women are more powerful. They can create life, and during that time, it's when they're the most powerful, and so they're not. They were told not to wear that dress during those times, because they, if they're feeling a certain way, it affects a lot of people around them. And so, and especially if we're in a ceremony or a powwow or a gathering, it said not to wear that dress because it affects a lot of people. And that dress has been known as the healing dress, and since it started, its beginnings, was when it made that little girl feel much better and made her dance and feel good. So that dress has always been known as a healing dress. But in general, I think a lot of our dances were actually healing dances. From the warriors coming home. Traditional dancers coming home and having a little bit of trauma wherever they had gone to, whether it was war or off to battle or out gathering stuff. Sometimes there was trauma that was happened, and they would come back, and how they would share their story was through that dance, through dance and through telling their story. They would tell the story, and in that way there was healing. So a lot of all of our dances are healing dances, in a sense, because they make us feel good as dancers, and also we always say we dance for the people, and they make the people that see those dances feel good too, and feel um, um, blessed that someone is there dancing, and so it's a reciprocal relationship. And so jingle dress is much the same. It's a newer dance compared to the older style that I was talking about last week, the traditional style. But at the same time, a lot of different tribes have adopted that way, and so I think those are two of the main ones. I really wanted to talk about. Not, you don't have to have 360 cones on your dress. That there was no rules or regulations how many cones that you had to have on your dress. I think the only thing the man said from the dream was that there was metal on his dress. And I know today, people use tobacco. I know back in the day, the tops of tobacco or skull um, was sought after. I don't know if you know what chewing tobacco is. It's a little thing, and they would take the cones and they would bend them, and that has a particular sound to it. But nowadays, you can go to like Dancing Bear Indian Trader, and they have the pre-made cones that are pressed, and now they're getting really fancy where they put like I think there was this tribe. I can't remember the name of it, but she put an emblem of the Ojibwe people on that cone. And now there's different colors, different places that you buy your regalia supplies. You can get them in different colors. But anyway, just thinking about that, I always think about design and making the dress. And I think for my daughter, we started her out, dancing that old style traditional where she learned, and that's how she dances normally. Is that straightforward? No. Also, oh, let me close this window real quick. Sorry. Too close to the traffic. But some other not do's and don'ts, but other things that come along with that jingle dress. Dancing. In a good feeling, in good when you're feeling good is I think the most important, and when you're not in a period is one of the most important. And also, dancing like the old style is just dancing straight forward, not going back or sideways or turning in circles and dancing. And sometimes you'll hear um, singers and dancers say, that it's only sacred or it's only healing when they do this sidestep, but it's not. That's not correct. It's all, that just whenever they're dancing, whether it's the sidestep or dancing a straight song, it's all healing. And so that's one thing that a lot of people kind of think about, along with having so many cones. There's no rule about that either. But the song in itself is it's kind of a steady beat. It's kind of a fast tempo, and that side stuff. And I think the only rule is like when they do like if they ever have when they dance sideways in that healing kind of fashion, it's usually just the adult women, not the young kids that dance in that circle. If there's ever a need for prayer for people, they said even like in all the dances, we don't allow the young kids to come out when there's a call for prayer for the people, because that prayer or that call for that need for praying for people sometimes can have uh, ill effects or bad effects to our young kids. And so, but as older people, we're kind of we can handle it and we can take it and we dance. And that's why they always ask the older adults, not the young kids or the women that have had their periods, to come out and dance when they call for a healing dance. And the young kids are just, they have to stay out and they have to watch, because that affects them. So if you ever hear that as a young kid, I think you should probably stay out unless you already had your moon. Then you can come out with the adult ladies and dance with them if there's a call for healing. And that's what I was taught. It's kind of a protocol that the young kids could do. And so my daughter, was taught by quite a few different people, young ladies and older women, and relatives, of the protocols of that jingle dress. I think as an adult, I know some adult women, to be able to dance that dress, they had to go to sweat or something and cleanse themselves and cleanse them of the things that they have gone through life. I think, but for young kids, they're still innocent, and so they're brought out in that way. But that's that probably the best way to dance is have the as a young person to be able to be brought out and be able to dance that dance. For us, like I said, we talk to our relatives. We got the story, the origin, and my daughter knows that story, and she tells it sometimes, and she still has all her dresses. We made her a few dresses, and we started out by making that old traditional style, which is really plain cotton, and then we actually rolled our own cones, and that's how we kind of learned how to put a jingle dress together. Was from my good friend. I remember we asked my friend Lena Brigade to come over one day and help us, teach us. And so she actually came over to our house and spent the whole day with us, teaching us and showing us how to sew. And that's what it takes. You can't just buy it, like go to Walmart or Target and just buy some of these outfits or these dresses. It takes time, it takes patience. We also cooked food and had a good meet up and a good meal before that information was shared with us, as far as making the dresses and being a tailor or seamstress. I think as a young man, that's where I kind of learned how to sew, is with my grandma, with my aunts and my grandma, because they made their own outfits. They made their own traditional wear. I know my grandma made her dresses, and and stuff, and I always used to watch and see, and that's how I kind of learned how to sew. But I also, took a class in high school and learned how to use the machine and what things were for. And since then, I've always known how to sew and how to work a sewing machine. I know my mom had her sewing machine. She was gifted by someone her sewing machine, and she really didn't know how to use it. Oh, I'm drinking some lemonade and peach tea. Violet. It was left over from Violet's, so I kind of stole it. No, I didn't. She gave it to me. It's really good. Got it from Starbucks. But yeah. So I kind of learned how to kind of learned a little bit from my family, my relatives, and quite a few different people how to put together that dress. And later as we got as a family we came as my daughter got older, we started, she wanted to dance in competitions also, and so we decided to make her more of a contemporary dress, and we did. We made a few contemporary dresses, and we made leggings. I know that in the old style they didn't wear leggings. And leggings usually go around the ankle area above up to your knee. They consider that legging, but the old style they just wore the moccasins themselves. And she has that. I know she was gifted by Tina Morales a really nice dress and beadwork as a young kid, because I guess Tina really enjoyed her dancing. Her style was the old traditional style. And if you ever get to see Violet, she does that real quick style and quick changeover and dance, and it's really I miss her dancing. And she knows how to do the contemporary style where they dance around a little bit more. And I always find that kind of funny. I never really liked. Well, I don't know. I just thought it was a little different than the old style, because they kind of get really crazy and they start chopping if they have like a fan. Some people start chopping, or they go this way and they'll whack it this way, and it's just a little weird, a little different. I mean, it's still new in contemporary times. I have nothing against contemporary dancers or people that dance that style. I think it gives it more of a flavor, and in times, I know a lot of times we get to go to some of these powwows, and they have two different categories of the old style of jingle dress, and they have the new style. And I know when I'm asked to judge, usually I'm kind of biased, and I'll pick the old style over the new style, because I just kind of think of that song, or that song and that origin story where it comes from, how that man had that envision of them dancing straight. And so for me, as a judge, when I dance, or when I do that, that's kind of how I kind of how I feel, kind of a bias. I really like the old style myself. Maybe it's because I know where that story comes from, and where and the truth, and some of the things that I know, and then it's not for me like to hold on to or to have. It's always, I always tell everybody that these stories, I pass them on to people and show them, because those stories are not for me to hold on to, but for other people to learn and to know. And so that style of jingle dress was not taught to me by just one person. Like, there was quite a few different people in my wife and myself, in our lives, and in my daughter's lives, that really gifted her. And like I said, Tina Morales was one that really enjoyed my daughter's dance, and gifted her that dress, or two dresses actually. So she still has those dresses. We have them all nice and put away. We got some plastic over them. They're all nice and clean, ready to go. But I think there's a couple of them that I also was given another dress that had horses on it from up north, from Montana, and that's a really thick dress. It's really, I guess it's made for the winter. It's really heavy too, because it's got like leather on it also, and it's like double layered cotton, and it's got the jingle dress, the old style jingle dress, or old cones, which were the bent over tobacco, and it's really heavy. If you ever grab it and pick it up, it's really heavy to dance. And I know my sister-in-law had worn it for a little bit, because my daughter had outgrown it, my daughter Violet, and she's still outgrown. There's like three or four dresses. I remember one time my daughter was helping me sell raffle tickets, and I gave her some money for helping me out. And so she bought this one dress from a lady that made it from down south, and it was really nice green dress, and it was really light. That one was really light, and it was just like one layer of of fabric, and it was a good layer. It's still we still have that dress, and it was lighter than that heavier dress that she had, and it really worked out for her. I think that as far as my experience, having a heavy dress versus a lighter dress, and my daughter really enjoyed the lighter dress. It was easier, it was breathable. It was not like that northern dress, really thick, and I guess it was made to keep you warm up from Montana area, and we were given that dress. I was given that dress, and I didn't know why at the time. I went back home, and one of my cousin brothers had given me this dress and said, "Hey, you know anybody that wants to dance?" And so I was like, "Oh, okay, I'll take it." And then so I was given that dress, and so from there, I was also given the story of where that comes from and what the importance of it. And so eventually, I gave it to my daughter, and so I think as things develop, I think in communities, and I think people, yeah, I think my daughter also gifted Karina her first dress and or her little bit of beaded headband. I know we had asked a good friend Sonia Flores to help us out because at that time I think I wasn't confident in my beadwork. I didn't really believe in myself to do things, but I was still doing things because it was for my daughter, and I wanted good things for her. So I made myself and I taught myself, self-taught, both me and my wife, how we self-taught ourselves, but also we talked to people. We asked different things about beadwork and how they made it. And I remember the first time we had our first beadwork that we ever had made for our daughter. We commissioned Sonia Flores, Kara's mom. I said she just posted, and we had asked her to do kind of a crow style, and I remember Sonia was like, I'm not sure what crow style is, and so I was like, oh, it's more of a geometric style. And so I kind of gave her a vision of what I was looking for, what we were looking for, I should say, and so she made us the first. I wish I think it's actually in storage. I think a lot of our dance stuff's in storage. I should have grabbed it and I was would able to show, but she still has that first headband we had asked Sonia Flores to bead, and she made a really nice choker and connection. It's really pretty beautiful geometric style and earrings. And we still have that, and my daughter still has that very special beadwork that we had Sonia make, and we really appreciate that. But at that time, we were still learning how to bead, and so we asked people that knew how to bead and knew how to make things. And I remember, um, but yeah, we didn't make the dress that was given to my daughter first. It was actually given to me to give to someone. And my daughter wanted to dance that jingle, that switch from Fancy Shaw to Jingle, and so we had that dress. We just happened to have, just kind of came to be, and so, since then, I've been really appreciative of people giving gifts. I think that's the power of some of our Indian ways in the powwow circle. That's reciprocal, where we give things in return. People give us things, and we return. And we keep that good feeling, that good flow of good energy, good positive things, and that's the power of, I think, of the powwow in itself, and in the dance. Also, you could say the dance itself is a healing dance. It gives good things, good vibes, and good things for the people, and in return, it makes us feel good, it makes them feel good, so it's very positive. And that's really important. And in teaching that, that dance is always important to learn where it comes from, the origin of the Milak people. Hopefully I'm saying that correctly. Ojibwe or Anishinaabe, um, in some other language. Hopefully I'm probably butchering the language, but at the same time, we're learning where the origin story of where that dress comes from, and try to stick with their protocols that they developed. I know the women have made it their own, which is very powerful in contemporary times. The women here in contemporary times have made that dress their own, and their own dance style. And I know nowadays you go around to different powwows and contest powwows where you see um, the skills of the tailors and the skills of the seamstress that have put together those outfits are really unique, really special, and really outgoing. I was lucky to see. I have a few friends that are really good at sewing and stuff, and seeing their skill, their artwork, as you could say, on those dresses, and being able to dance in competitions really. And then they add the beadwork, and it just becomes really powerful. But at the beginning of that, that old style, like I said, there wasn't too much to the dress itself. The contemporary versus the contemporary. Now they have a bunch of beadwork like all over, beadwork cuffs, beadwork little cuffs here, ankles, and they got beadwork all the way down. They got beadwork on the fan, and they got two, three plumes. But at the same time, I still like the old style, real simple, and it's real simple to have um, those things. And I think both on my Navajo side and the traditional side, we didn't dance with feathers. It was more in contemporary times that we started using feathers and dancing with feathers. Usually, just the men or the warriors that had those feathers that would come out, but then everybody, made it their own and made it their own design. But it's always good to reach back and think about where it comes from and how it's evolved and how it is today. And so that's my little talk about that jingle dress and where it comes from. And hopefully, you guys got something good out of it. I should have brought some stuff to kind of show and share and do show and tell, share and tell. But I didn't even think about it. A little slow. But hopefully you guys can check stuff on the internet, the YouTube. There's also, if you ever get a chance to look up the origin story of the YouTube, and if you look up the Mille tribe, um, you can see they have a little story. I saw they made it like a little movie, short movie about it. And I know there's this one gentleman that my uncle, kind of got the rights to talk about this dress was from this guy named Larry Smallwood. Yeah, back in the day at this one powwow, I think it was like a long, long time ago, 2000, in 2000, early 2000, when that dress first started coming out and became popular. I think that gentleman had talked, and one of my uncles was the MC, and so he kind of got the rights to talk about that dress, and I think that's where my brother had learned. And my brother was at that powwow too, my cousin brother, and who was the one that gave me that dress, and he told me the story about it, and that's where kind of it comes from, where I learned it, and where our tribe as the Crow people got that story. But I think that dress and all of our dances have their own little origin story in our communities. Living in the urban area, where that dress came from, who brought it to you, who gave it to you, who gave you the rights to do it. All of us have our own little story as tribes. All of us tribes, all the tribes all over the country. We had kind of developed our own little story of how we got that dress and that dance, and who taught us, and who we saw. And some of the people that my daughter saw, was also Tina, and also another lady named Kip. I can't remember her name, but I know her new name, Kit Largo. Um, but I know her husband. He's a Navajo guy that was military, Marine. Um, and anyway, she had watched him, and that's who I told my daughter to watch and to kind of emulate, was that Kip Largo. I can't remember her original or her maiden name, but that's who. If you want to learn how to dance that old style, I would look up Kip Largo or Kip, and she. I think I really enjoy how she dances. It really kind of tells me that old style. But you can also, like I said, look up videos of the old style of Ojibwe, the Millac, Millaca, Millac tribe, band of Ojibways, and they tell the story, the traditional origin story of that. Hopefully, if we can, have put that link in the description. Maybe those two links, and so that story, is both, from a family point of view, how it came to us, to my family, and then how it came down, and how we brought it here to San Diego. Well, we didn't actually breed it here. We just we wanted my daughter to dance that, and so being part of the dance troupe, the Soaring Eagles. Our Soaring Eagles. I always talk about our dance troupe here in San Diego, because uh, for us, living in the urban area, it was a really good resource for us, as a military family. I wanted to reach back to my traditional ways or old ways. And at that time, I remember a good group of people. Of course, Vicky Gambala, um, Roy Cook. I believe Chuck was there. Also, Randy Edmonds was there. Richard Parker and his wife were some of the few first few family founding members of that Sword and Eagles, and I was luckily to be there and a part of that. And since then we've grown a lot. And in the next hour, we're going to be going to our dance class. We're having a little virtual dance class, hosted by the American Indian Health Center and the Youth Center. And Sonia Flores is our instructor, our dancer, and along with myself. And I'll be playing music and trying to, because I know from my experience all the different types of music and how it sounds. I'm a singer and a drummer, and I can do both at the same time. But I know the sounds and the right songs for the right dance, and just by listening and learning from my experience. And so, but we have a really good class that we have every week. I know last week we kind of have a bad connection. I had on our end and their end, and it's just, if you have good internet, hopefully you can plug. It's best to plug in directly. Just so you can tune in. And I know some of the young ladies, some of the young kids are learning where that dress comes from and about it. And I wish we could be in person to teach them one-on-one and some of the protocols. But we're doing our best as we can, with virtually. But you can also do your own homework and learn how to dance that jingle dress, the old style. Old style is really different. Um, I think they also used to have a scarf. I think that's one thing I forgot. They would have a scarf instead of the fans that you see today. And they would dance. I mean, they would move not a full circle, but they would dance like this, and they would dance. When they would dance that sidestep, and usually, the jingle dress dancers, that's the only dance they do, or they only they only have two beats that they dance to, or allowed to, as some people say. They only dance to either the sidestep, or they dance to a straight song or intertribal, where it's just the regular beat, and then the sidestep, which is, like, if I'm doing the beat right. But yeah, usually jingle dress dancers, they don't dance to crow hops. Um, I think it's the only thing they don't dance to. They can, if they want to dance to like a sidestep, that's a little different. That's a kind of more of a community dance. I know. Um, Sometimes there's songs out there that sound like sidestep, but actually they're trying to emulate that the round dance. And sometimes, kids. I know from my experience and seeing the kids, sometimes we'll be setting up the drum, and even at dance class, we'll kind of test them, and we'll do a sidestep and see if they start dancing. Sometimes they'll dance the sidesteps, and sometimes they'll dance the round dance, and then we have to tell them we're singing this, and we have to explain a little bit. And then it just has to do with learning. I mean, when we were first started out dancing that jingle dress and learning the origin stories and learning the songs, we didn't know the difference either, and we had to actually learn and hear the songs many times, and then say, oh, okay, that's the beat, or that's the how it goes. And so, don't be too stressed out if you get it wrong sometime, because that just happens. It just comes with learning the songs and learning how they, the sidestep, the different noises the sidestep makes versus a round dance, or a double beat. Double beat is a little different. It sounds the same, almost like a double beat. So there's three songs that you can kind of get confused with the sidestep, and I saw some dancers kind of get confused too. But don't get confused, and just kind of keep learning and watching other people. I think the best way to learn how to do the sidestep is to watch some of the older women dancers that are not the contemporary dancers. Are dancing the old style. And I think Kip Largo is one really good dancer that I really enjoy her dance style and how she danced. Um, and also, she's a giveaway too, so it makes kind of sense. Um, and just kind of do your best when you watch stuff on the internet, and kind of when you watch stuff on the internet, sometimes they don't tell the story of where it comes from or why they're dancing that particular way. because sometimes they'll have specials and they'll be dancing maybe a little different or a little the same. But but yeah, just be mindful of that, of what you see on the internet and what people say. And it's a lot to learn if you want to dance that style. Uh, yes, Carolyn or Reyes also, yes. Yeah, Turtle Mountain Chippewa Cree tribe. Again, like I said, Chippewa Cree, Turtle Mountain. I know um, Carolina is from that tribe, and they dance that style, um, and it's good, to have friends and to listen to people. And if you ever get the chance to go up north into the Great Lakes area and see that and where it comes from, and also watch many different dancers and how they dance, it's very good to learn um, and get I guess firsthand knowledge or on the job training, as we say in the military, to learn how to do that dance. And I know some of our parents, like for us, as parents, we didn't know how to do that dance or how it came from, where it came, but it took us to take on that responsibility. So if you want your kids to dance, you have to learn the origin stories, where it comes from, and then you'll have to put that dress. I think the best way to get a young person dancing is to be able to do it yourself. As a parent, you got to get out there and make the dress yourself, and have the kids learn how to roll the cones, or show them how to sew the dresses, or what goes what. There's more learning or more significance if you do it that way versus just buying beadwork or just buying the outfit from someone that's selling it. um, there's more things that you can get out as a family unit that you can learn um, with the kids. There's that teaching of the kids and how to put together the outfit, and there's a much better understanding, and it carries a lot longer when you tell the story of that origin, that the origin of the origin of the story of the jingle dress. I'll get it straight. If you can show and explain, I think that's really important, to show how to make the dresses, to put them together, then to also tell the significance of the stories and why we dance this way. It's all important because it's helps us as a whole, as people coming together and healing ourselves as a community. I think all our dancers, like I said, all our dancers are really important, and they help us heal both personally and for the people that see it. And a lot of times, I think that's one of my daughter. I remember one of the things that she said, that she dances not for herself, but she dances for the people. And I remember she wrote that. She was a little girl. She wrote that in a little poem, and I remember that. That's the one part that I always remember, and always makes me, brings a tear to my eye when she had said that. And I never told her that to say that, and then when she said that, and just made me feel really good that I was doing a good thing for my daughter, and a good thing by learning how to do it, where it comes from, and putting it together myself as a family versus just buying it from somewhere, or doing it that way. So it's good to learn how to do those things. And if you're older adults, older moms and dads, like I said, you can learn how to do it, and wearing the jingle dress, yes, is a big responsibility. Um, and yeah, good point. Like I said, Carolyn said, wear as many jingles as you are able to carry is good. You know, I think that was always taught too, that those those cones or prayers that were sent out to the people that you want to dance for. And so the number, depends on how many prayers that you want to send out. Um, yeah, and she also added that they dance forward and zigzag, but it's always forward, like in life, in our life's journey. We dance forward, and sometimes we zigzag a little bit, but most of the time we're going forward and always moving forward. And in that life, it's always important to tell the kids, there's positive and there's negative, but there's also, what did you learn from the experiences that you get in life, and what do you learn from the things that, if things go wrong. I think it's always important to know that sometimes you learn more when things go wrong, or versus things going right for you. It's a really good thing to learn and know. And so, thinking about what's happening now, and yeah, this there was a pandemic in 1917 flu pandemic. Oh yeah, yeah. I think from what I got from that story too, that was around that time when the jingle dress was developed, or when the man had that vision was around that time. I think a lot of our Indian people were getting different sicknesses from the settlers, and it affected us differently than what we were normally used to. And so the pandemic and all the sicknesses that have come, it's nothing new. I always say this during this pandemic that we're in right now. It's nothing new to us as Indian people. We've lived it, we've survived it, and and today we're still carrying on our traditional ways, our traditional values, and we keep pushing forward because that we're really a resilient people. And in this pandemic, we're gonna keep on dancing. I know I have a good friend, Tiny Rosales, that helped put together that dance, um, the dance quarantine dance. And I remember she had asked me to help her out, but I couldn't do too much at that time. And so she was able to get other people involved, and they took on that quarantine dance special to keep the people dancing, because that's what she believed in the healing of our dances. And so she did that, and she's kept that going. And I really, I'm really excited to. I enjoy watching the dancers online and doing some of those as they participate in some of those dances. But at the same time, I really miss it, missing seeing it in person. It's much different, and much, and you can hear and you can feel the sounds of the drum and the heartbeat of the drum and the dress, and you hear the sounds. And if you ever if you're at a powwow and you kind of close your eyes and you can hear it, it really does sound like rain when you all these dancers are inside the circle, and they're dancing. It really, really, really powerful. It makes you feel good. Makes you feel that energy. And yes, Carolyn Reyes also reminds. She's also a jingle dress dancer. If you don't know who Carolyn Reyes, she's Ojibwe, or Turtle Mountain Ojibwe Cree, Chippewa Cree tribe from North Dakota. And she wants to remind the kids, or if whoever's listening to this, that you shouldn't dance or wear your jingle dress during your times of the moon, or when you're on your period. Because, like I said, that medicine that the women have is very powerful. They can create life and bring life into this world. And during that time is when the women are really powerful. And during ceremonies when we don't want them to be there, because sometimes they can tip the scale um, the wrong way, or the right way, and it's really powerful, and it affects a lot of people. And so that's why they say not to wear that dress during when you have that time of month for the women. um, um, yeah, thank you, Carolyn, for reminding us about that. um, so with that, that's kind of my perspective. Hopefully you guys enjoyed some of my perspective of where it comes from and how it came here. And like I said, we have a tradition that we're continuing on with our young kids, at our dance class, our Soaring Eagles dance class. And wherever you have a dance class, it's important to let the kids know the origin story of where it comes from, and the importance of how you put the dress together and put it together. Even like when we put some of our outfits, I always taught when I do some of my crafts that I have to be in a good place, in a good state of mind. I have to cleanse myself, do self care, as we know that today, self care by cleansing your body, cleansing yourself, and so that when you do this work of making the outfits or making regalia, that you do it in a positive manner, so that if you're making it for somebody, they'll have that positive manner in their lives. And so it just keeps on having that ripple effect of positivity. And that's one thing I hope everybody can get out of this talk. This is, like I said, this is more of a discussion. I have a lot of our people, um, yeah, even like when you add the cones to your dress. You say a little prayer. It's really important for us young people to know, how to petition the Creator, how to, a lot of times, when I was a kid, when I used to pray, I used to kind of pray for kind of selfish stuff. I used to ask for things for myself. I pray to win the basketball game, or I pray to win the football game, or if you own Creator, if you only let let us win this one time, I'll be good for the year. I'll do good in school, and it came, full circle until I got older. I think to know that that it doesn't work if you try to pray for things for yourself. It doesn't work. We actually have a system, like our Indian people have a system already. We have our clan uncles that we go and ask if they could pray for us. We're going to do this task, and we ask if they could do prayers for us, and then it works. If we go to our clan aunts and they pray for us, and then it works. So, and even my grandparents would tell me that when we pray for other people. We don't pray for ourselves because it won't work for us, but it works for other people. And so people will pray for you. Like, my mom, she's always praying for us, and for me and her children. I pray for my kids, and in return, my kids pray for me. And then so even my wife, I'm as a Navajo man, I'm not allowed to bless her or pray for her um, in that same way. She can't do it for me. So we usually have our kids pray for us. It's kind of a little different, but at the same time, it makes sense, that our prayers will be answered if we pray for other people. But if we pray for ourselves selfishly, then they won't be answered. So, that's something that I learned as older, and as I became myself as a clan uncle. I pray for the young nephews and young nieces nowadays. They come to me and bring me stuff and ask me to pray for them, and now I do that. I have a way. And so it's always good to take care of yourself and to teach the young kids those kind of perspective. And I'm not trying to make you Navajo or Crow. I'm just sharing my experience, and I know a lot of people will do the same thing in their own way. As they get this dress or these different dances, they'll do their own form of prayer, form of offering, form of tobacco or cleansing. Like I said, it's unique to each tribe, and there's over like 567 or 76. I keep getting those numbers mixed up. Unique tribes have that never danced these dances, but are now taking on that responsibility of dancing these dances, and hopefully everybody can do the things that you can. And of course, like Carolyn's saying right here, to burn sage, to bless your dress, or sweetgrass, whatever medicine that you use to cleanse your dress. It's good to cleanse yourself. I always tell my daughter that same thing about after she dances too, to re-cleanse her dress, because all that energy, people are hurting sometimes, and they, without their fault, they send out negative energy or bad energy that they're trying to get rid of, and it goes to that dress, and you have to cleanse that dress once again every time you use it. And that's why, even for my own regalia, I cleanse it every time I use it, or before I use it, and after I use it, just to get it back to good use again, to good. So it's really important to do that prayer and to take care of yourself. So self-care is very important. As Indian people, we've always known that. Even for the items that we use and the things that we put out there that we make, self-care for that, to keep things in positive manner. But yeah, so hopefully you guys got something out of this talk, and the things I was here to share with you, and you can use this for your different dance classes if you wish. And that story, is not for myself to hold on, but to pass on to the people in the community, so that we can heal as a whole. And so I hope you guys have a good day. I really enjoyed my little talks with everyone here. I think some of you guys will see me on Facebook, and some of you will see me on the YouTube. So you guys take care, whatever time of day it is for you. Have a good night. We're going to be switching over to our Soaring Eagles dance class next coming up. And if you guys didn't watch Carolina before me, she made a fish taco. What was that? I can't remember. Tilapia fish taco. It was really good. It looked really good when she showed the picture. Yeah, check that out. Also support some of the other things that are on the YouTube for the clinic here. We have a lot of good content and good scene, good things to be shared with, and good stories. Yes, Marin, we'll see you guys soon. Hopefully, we'll see you guys out on the dance floor um, real soon, back on the powwow. I know I guess they just had their first powwow up in North Dakota, up at the Forebearers. I saw that, and I was kind of a little hesitant because they did it indoors. So I was like, oh man. So I think those people at that first powwow indoors are the guinea pigs, and we'll see what happens after this. I'm not wishing anything negative or bad. Hopefully, it's all positive and nobody gets sick from that dance, or when because they had it was indoors and they had a lot of protocols set in place. But you just kind of think about that, and hopefully, we get back on out to our dances and to our celebrations, and we all can heal from and get back together and see one another, which is the most important. So you guys have a good day, have a good evening, good night, whatever time of day it is for you. Aho, smudge, don't judge.